Do you ever feel like your life's path is already set, that after a certain age, 30, 40, 50, your dreams just fade away, buried under responsibilities? If you've ever felt that it's impossible to change, this story is for you. It's a powerful reminder that you are never too old, too late, or too broken to begin again. This is the story of Adeel, a man who, at 42, felt trapped between who he wanted to be and who life forced him to become. He wasn't a failure. Not really. But he wasn't proud of himself either. He had a small job that barely paid the bills, a life that felt like a repeating loop, and a heart full of quiet regrets. Every morning, he looked in the mirror and whispered the same sentence. This, isn't, the life I imagined. As a young man, he dreamed of becoming an architect, someone who built things that would last. But financial problems forced him to drop out of college. He took odd jobs, and over the years, he watched his dreams crumble silently. Now, at 42, he believed it was simply too late. Until one rainy Tuesday evening changed everything. Adeel was sitting at a small tea stall after work, exhausted. The rain drummed loudly on the metal roof. Across from him sat an older man, maybe around 70. He was thin and wrinkled, but his eyes held a calm strength. "You look tired," the old man said, his voice gentle. Adeel just scoffed. "A little?" The old man smiled. "No," he said. "You look defeated." The raw honesty surprised Adeel. "Life didn't exactly turn out the way I thought," he admitted. The old man sipped his tea. "Whose life does?" he asked, making Adeel look at him, confused. The man continued. "I became a doctor at 52. Adeel blinked. "Impossible." But the man just nodded. "My wife died early. My kids moved abroad. I worked in a factory for years. One day I realized if I don't change now, the rest of my life will look exactly like today. And that scared me more than trying." Hearing this, Adeel felt something heavy shift inside him. The old man leaned closer. "Listen, son. Regret is heavier than effort. You think you're old at 42? You're wrong. You're early if you start now." Before Adeel could respond, the old man stood up, paid for both of their teas, and said something that would echo in Adeel's mind for years to come. "The next 10 years will pass anyway. Make sure they take you somewhere." And then he walked away into the rain. That night, Adeel couldn't sleep. The old man's words replayed over and over. The next morning, he searched online for free architecture courses. He found one at beginner level. For a moment, he hesitated. "People my age don't start over," he thought. But then the echo came back. "Regret is heavier than effort." He clicked enroll. That first week was hard. The second week was even harder. He felt slow, rusty, and embarrassed. But every single time he wanted to quit, he imagined his life 1 year from now exactly the same. And that fear, the fear of staying stuck, kept him going. He studied after his long shifts at work. He practiced designs late into the night. He watched tutorials during his short lunch breaks. He worked quietly, consistently. There was no applause, no shortcuts, no magic. Just small, unglamorous, daily effort. Of course, people around him laughed. They'd say, "You're too old for this," or "You should just focus on your job." And even, "Do you really think you can compete with young architects? You're wasting your time." But Adeel didn't argue. He didn't try to explain himself. He just whispered to himself, "I'm not competing with anyone. I'm becoming a better version of myself." A year later, he had built a strong portfolio of his own designs. 2 years later, he started applying to small firms. Rejection after rejection came. He was turned down by 13 different companies. But he kept trying. Then, at 45, he received a call. A tiny architecture studio needed part-time help. The pay was low. The hours were long. The expectations were high. He accepted anyway. Working in that studio changed everything. He wasn't the best, he wasn't the fastest, and he definitely wasn't the youngest. But what he was the most disciplined, the most consistent, the most passionate, and people started to notice. His first design wasn't perfect, but it was creative. His second showed clear improvement, and his third design impressed the entire team. They promoted him, not because of his age, and not because of some hidden raw talent. They promoted him because of his unwavering commitment. At 47 years old, Adeel designed his first real project, a small community library. His name was printed on the final blueprint. He stood there for hours, just touching the paper, smiling like a young boy. For the first time in decades, he truly felt alive. One afternoon, while walking home from work, Adeel found himself back at that same tea stall. He sat in the same chair. It was raining again, and there he was, the old man, sitting right where he'd been years ago. Adeel walked up to him with a smile. "Do you remember me?" he asked. The old man studied his face. "A little. You told me something once," Adeel said. "Something that changed my life." He explained everything from the online course, to the rejections, to finally designing the library. The old man listened silently, a gentle smile forming on his face. When Adeel finished, the old man said, "See, you weren't late. You just started when you were finally ready." Adeel felt tears well up in his eyes. The old man placed a hand on his shoulder. "Son, success is never about age. It's about courage. Most people die at 40 but are buried at 80. I'm glad you chose to live. This isn't just a fairy tale. It's a real story that so many adults live through silently. And the truth it reveals is simple. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not stuck forever. Life doesn't end at 30 or 40 or 50. Your dreams don't expire. They just wait. The next 5 years of your life will pass. Anyway, the only question is, will you be in the exact same place you are today? Or will you finally build the life you've been avoiding? Start today. Take one small step, then another. You can rebuild your life. You can rewrite your story. You can begin again, at any age. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire.